Bughuul, the director. Sinister may be the only movie that made me feel uncomfortable no matter how many times I've watched it. And at first I thought it was the soundtracks, the creepy music involved. But there was more to it. I realized that this was a movie that isn't just you watch it and it's over. It's a movie that continuously watched you back, and we had no idea what we were in for until it was literally too late and there was no way to back out now. The dread that you might have felt after the movie ended, it was real. If you felt like you were in danger, you were creeped out, that's exactly what the movie intended you to feel. We're gonna look at Sinister from a perspective of why it affected us so bad, how it was probably one of the best horror movies ever made, and what this Bughuul guy is all about. First of all, they immediately start off with an utterly disturbing scene with this distorted sound. Not music, mind you, not anything really. It's just this weird buzz almost. Now this was the trap, right? The moment you start watching, there is already no turning back. We're part of this ritual now, but we don't realize it yet. Ellison and his family move to a new house, a very classic moment in horror movies. New house, new life, everyone's hopeful, and the kids are sad because they miss their old school. This is another small trick to make you feel comfortable. It's a very familiar scene that happens frequently in real life. People move, kids get upset, and people are hopeful that their new life will be better than before. We're back to feeling calm. The opening scene of the movie? Already forgotten. And the feeling of safety is exactly what Bughuul is trying to instill. Before we go any further, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. It helps me a lot to grow as a channel. And also, I did talk to Bughuul about not messing with any of my viewers, but I can't make any promises if you're not subscribed, so just a heads up, But then we get to see Ellison as he looks out the back window into the yard, where we're reminded of that horrifying tape. But notice something, this isn't point of view, right? It's not POV. Like, the camera is just lingering next to him, almost as though we're his friend, his ally in all this. We hear him speak to his wife, and we know he's hiding something. He looks at the crime scene, and we're aware of what happened. But we can't speak of it. We have to hide his secret. We're part of his journey now. And this is where the movie sort of becomes personal. We're not just watching some guy going into his office with blacked out curtains and watching some weird tapes. We are there, sitting next to him, witnessing whatever is happening with him. Unknowingly, we're becoming part of it. And he's talking to us, asking questions, taking notes. He's including us in the process. But that's not all. We also get to see a man in his most vulnerable moments. Him rewatching his own tapes, seeing his only successful books on the shelves as he decides not to call the police about the tapes. And immediately we start rooting for him. Maybe because we also had similar failures in our lives. We had short bursts of success and then nothing but failure, and we tried to repeat that process. We tried to get that back, and maybe we couldn't. But here's the thing, if Ellison is able to write this book, if he's able to solve this mystery, then it's not just a win for him, it's a win for us too. We want him to win, because it will also give us hope that we indeed might also be able to turn it back around at some point. But the problem is, these tapes aren't just unresolved murders. They're pathways into the netherworld, and with each watch, we're pulled deeper into the realm of Bughuul. It's like, if you watch a sad movie, you might feel sad, right? You could even cry. If you watch a funny movie, maybe a comedy, you start laughing, you get in a good mood. Bughuul knows us too well. He knows the human nature. And what he does, he makes these movies, he directs them, he edits them. He is the sole maker of these movies, right? He makes them in such a way that the more you watch them, the more uneasy you start to feel. And that kind of weakens you. And Bughuul, he will use that later on to make sure that he can get to Ellison, get to us. But it also makes us realize this one thing, that something could be filming you in your most casual, happy or chill moment, when you're just you with your family, the ones closest to you. Maybe even right now. And if something were actually filming us right now without us knowing, well, I am being filmed right now, but I'm aware of this. The next scene, which is an immediate cut, to the horrors and the murders of those movies, makes us realize one thing. If I'm being filmed right now unknowingly, then the next scene I'm gonna be in is not gonna be a pleasant one. It's gonna be a horrible one. And what this does, it creates dread immediately in Ellison, but also in us. And the really baffling bit about these 8mm films is that they weren't really recorded to be seen by us, by anyone, really. Bughuul just keeps a collection of these things because that's where he exists in the media world. He's alive there. So these tapes serve a certain purpose. He's just this artistic killer that kind of collects these things almost. He doesn't need them. He only needs the children to feed off of their soul to continue existing. But when he hears about this writer soon coming into his house with a whole camera crew and they're going to be filming something there, he realizes that this is his perfect opportunity to make sure that we all get to see what he has done, what he has to offer. So Bughuul he's not human, but he has these traits of a psychopath, of this serial killer. But that's not all. He wants to make sure that we all become part of his ritual, because the more we watch it, the more we're involved and the more he gets control of us. Here's another creepy detail that I bet you haven't noticed before. The films don't have music. You see, I actually didn't realize this until my, fifth watch or something. And if you did, hey, respect. But what I'm talking about is, when the film is playing and then there's this calming, soothing, happy music, and then when it changes scenes into the darker side of the reality of the movie, it starts to get creepy, odd, disturbing. That's not part of those films, meaning Ellison never hears them. Only we do. You can tell when he's rewatching a scene and in that scene there's actually no music to be heard from the film. And this is a very important distinction to make because that can only mean one thing. That music, it was only made for us to hear, for the viewer. Without the soundtracks, they are just weird, disturbing movies, but you wouldn't really get as creeped out by them. See, with the soundtrack, and I'm gonna play something totally random so we don't get copyright striked, but it will still help, hopefully. They get under our skin, they stick with us. Bughuul doesn't need music to infect Ellison. He's right there in the house. It's easy to reach him, but we're safe in our own homes, in our couches, and it's just the television that we're seeing. So you need a stronger element, music. He wants to make sure that we're immersed in whatever this is. And note that the music in the movie doesn't make sense. It's not the usual horror theme that we're familiar to, strings or sudden drops. It's just weird. That's because Bughuul added it in. And you might think, but how? Like, why would he be able to edit in music outside of his own snuff films? Well, because Bughuul is able to manipulate media. Remember how he sometimes appears and disappears within his movies? For instance, in this hanging scene, he isn't there at first, but then he is, and then he isn't again. Or when Ellison has that frozen screenshot of the Bughuul on his laptop, and he moves to take a look at his prey. At Ellison. Basically, anytime we see Bughuul, whether it's in the snuff films or the real movie, he is actually there, present, and he's able to see us back. He's able to look back at us. Think of those, statue people that you see in touristic places, right? They have amazing makeup and they're just frozen still, and you can't really tell if they're real or not. Now take that idea and apply it to Bughuul. So basically, let's say he's a serial killer and he's in your screen and he's pretending to be a frozen frame when in fact he is not. This is quite disturbing to think about. And even if you didn't immediately realize this idea that Bughuul would also be able to exist outside of this movie, our subconsciences would feel it, would feel such a danger. And we're able to pick up to that, which is exactly why, even when the movie ends, we still feel uneasy. So Bughuul controls the media realm. Cool. That means he can make us hear whatever he wants. The eerie music, for instance. But he's also able to make us see whatever he wants. We're nothing but prey to him. Just like Ellison, just like the rest of the families. And even though he is a supernatural being, he's got humane features, you know? A face, long hair, limbs, and a body. If he was a disfigured, weird creature moving in an odd way, maybe it would be less scary. But this is almost a human with a disturbing, blocked-out face. And the more we watch of him, the more he's becoming part of us. But how he does it, you know, the way he approaches this is even more mesmerizing if you think about it. I don't want to say mesmerizing, it's maybe creepy. He doesn't offer candy to children. You know, most parents, they warn their children, they say, you know, from strangers, don't take anything, don't take candy. But this guy, what he does is he offers them creativity, imagination, media. He's able to control film, make us see and hear whatever we want. So imagine what he's able to show these children and tell them about, you know, once you join me or once you come here, you're gonna be able to create whatever you want, films, movies, make drawings. And children, they're all addicted to creativity, right? They want to experiment with stuff. You know, children, they get freedom, but it's to a certain extent. Even in this movie, Sinister, we see several times Ellison mentioning rule number 1, rule number 2. What was rule number 1? There was only one rule. And the rule is not to draw outside of your room's walls. But what happens when the room has no more empty walls to draw on? Bughuul doesn't have that limit. So odds are he's offering these children freedom, creativity, whatever they may desire. Now let's talk about the scene of the eerie ghost kids dancing. Yes, I call it that. It's secretly disturbing. Why secretly? Well, okay, the children, they look creepy. And it's really scary to think that a child's soul could be eaten by a creature and they just run the halls of a house at night. But what really creeped under my skin was the thought of a simple cracking or squeaking sound being so much darker than we usually care to think. What I mean is, you know, you're at home and you hear the hardwood creaking, or you think that you heard like a step almost, but you're the only one at home and you're sitting on your couch and you haven't actually moved. So you just sit up and look around, and of course there's nothing there, and you just shrug it off. Even I, during my rewatch of this movie, I kept looking at my door and thinking, did I not close the door? Because it was just a little bit split open, but it was completely dark. You know, there was no light shining from the outside or inside, which meant that there was just this strange darkness there that I couldn't really make out, and I wasn't sure whether I had closed it or not, and I kept looking over to see if someone was standing there, if someone was just playing a trick on me, but there really wasn't anybody. And yet I felt watched, and that's why I said secretly disturbing. Sinister showed us that even though Ellison never sees anything, things are moving around him, and the sounds are not random. He might also, just like us, think that he's losing his mind or that he just needs to sleep it off, but it gets even more disturbing. More often than not, when we have those instincts of being watched or that something is maybe looking straight at us, we are actually not wrong. This is some sort of primal fear that we've adapted or that we've gotten from our ancestors. Now, when they were living, they had to hunt, maybe even late at night. And there were all kinds of creatures that were hunting them back. That meant that they had to be alert at all times. And at night, if they cannot see, they would feel, they would sense these sounds that they hear. They would instantly know that there's something there. So this primal fear, it's real. Whatever dread you felt after the movie had ended, whatever precaution you took, maybe you locked the back door, which you almost never lock because, well, you know, it's a closed area or whatever. Odds are, it's probably the movie just messing with your head. Or it was just something that you felt that you cannot explain, and you were right. Now I'm gonna say something that might sound like I'm contradicting myself and this entire video so far, but it needs to be said. Bughuul never intended to make those movies. We know that so far he can manipulate media. He's alive and present. Whether it's a video or a photograph, he's always there. But other than Ellison, no family has ever seen these tapes, because if they had, they would have gone to the police. So these 8mm films, they were created only for Ellison and for us to watch. And there is a couple of reasons why Bughuul chose to make these movies. The first one was, yes, Ellison, and for us, the viewers, to see these movies and to become immersed in this netherworldly kind of media place. A second reason, which I believe is to be true, is simply for Bughuul's entertainment. He just wanted to make us feel scared, make us feel creeped out. He enjoys seeing people sort of suffer. That's why he usually, takes his time. He doesn't just immediately scare off a family, because this goes back to like 1960s or even before that, right? So at least the known 5-6 tapes that we see in the movie, it goes back to the 1900s. So Bughuul, he's a patient person that also likes to entertain himself. But the third reason was that he knew Ellison wouldn't drop this. He wasn't like the rest of these families. He wouldn't just be scared off of a scorpion or a snake. He's a tough cookie to crack, you could say. So Bughuul had to give him something to make him think that he can actually make it, that he can actually solve it. But he's also making sure that Ellison is worn enough down that when the time comes and the ultimate scare happens, he will leave the house. But there's more to that. Whenever he's filming these families, they're becoming part of his content. He basically gets their movie rights of their souls almost, or their lives. I really think that this guy wants to be known. Bughuul wants to be known by us, by the world. He wants everyone to see, look, I can make a really disturbing movie in under 20 seconds. And you know what? You win, Bughuul. You're right. This is worse than Gabe's weird tape that he showed at that Halloween party in the office. So what does he do? He films these bits, has them all in his netherworld, ready to be edited. And now that the right time has come, Ellison is on his way with a camera crew. He sits down and he starts editing these bits and makes them so that they're in a digestible, so people don't just click off, they can watch it and just be done with it. And then he starts recording some weird noise that he probably hears every day in this netherworld, adds them to these clips, and voila, we've all been infected by it. Now, this does not necessarily mean that he's gonna come after us. He might, but for now, he might also just settle of being known. And the problem with Ellison is that he wants to make it again. He wants to be known, so much so, he moves into the very house where a sick, inexplicable crime took place. And maybe this is another reason Bughuul shares his footage with him, because he sees part of himself in Ellison. They both want to be known. They both want to live forever. So in a way, Bughuul might actually be respecting Ellison, at least for a while. Look, he's always waking him up in the middle of the night, almost like he's inviting him to rewatch his movies. And he even hides behind him to see what he thinks. You can see his shining eyes right there. Okay, I started to get a little bit out of context here, but the idea of Bughuul admiring Ellison, hoping that he will appreciate his work, you have to admit that's kind of hilarious to think about. This all could just be Bughuul making sure that we, as the viewer, have entertainment to watch Ellison's doom and, this slow fate into darkness and sadness and pain. Because remember, it's easy to forget, Bughuul is able to see us back. Imagine I am seeing you watch me right now. That would feel disturbing. I don't think anyone would be able to sit really in front of me and just look me straight in the eye and think to themselves, wait, this guy's seeing me right now? Maybe don't eat my soup, maybe later, maybe after the video is finished. That's disturbing. And the guy is a serial killer that's actually able to see you back. You would probably think, well, I gotta hide my face so he doesn't remember me. Since we did get out of context a little bit, I want to show you one scene where I'm pretty sure we've never seen Ellison's face in more fear than in this scene. Right here, when his wife finds out about the house. Look at the guy. That's a guy who knows he messed up and is about to pay for it dearly. And no Bughuul in the world could ever be scarier than that. You know what? Scratch that. And here we go. All the movies Ellison has seen, all that he's tried to figure out, the scares, the sleepless nights, and the drinking, it's finally time. Bughuul captures his soul into film. And now he's inside the movie. You can tell from how he sees his surroundings and the digitally flickering ladder. So with that one shot where he was sleeping, he was basically channeled into Bughuul's realm. The entire movie happened, but it was all for that moment right there, to make sure that he's in the realm so that the final scare can be delivered to him, and then he's definitely gonna be able to pack up, leave all of this behind, no matter how much he desires to be famous and rich again. And the movie has a twist, but it's not one that makes us feel relieved in the end. And it's also not the one that you're thinking about. It's that I thought they were broke. How did they even afford this castle? What? Didn't my guy say that he can't keep writing college books, that they needed to write an ultimate book again to make sure they have enough money, to kind of live? He just went ahead and bought another castle. And I know for a fact that he didn't sell his previous house yet because he didn't want to undersell it. So if you think about it, the guy bought 3 houses back to back. One of them was a castle. I'm done. Bughuul, you know what? Take him. You deserve it. Enjoy his soul for dinner, man. Anyway, had to get that off my chest, sorry. So, Ellison and his family moved houses, which is the last stage of the ritual. They're now ready to be taken out. And it kind of makes sense. Like, I get it. If I was Bughuul, I'd do the same. I'm pretty sure he could have just kept killing in the same house over and over again. But at some point, no one would ever live there. And this guy, while being a supernatural being and all, is still primitive, almost animalistic. And he's figured out the best way to survive, to continue feeding. And it's by constantly changing scenes. No pun intended. And I really don't think watching the extended cuts changed anything. At that point, Bughuul was just feeling generous, probably, and maybe wanted Ellison to figure it out, or to show him how not close he ever was. And it was just Bughuul's last little mockery of the guy he once admired. But it's always the horror movie that has those horrible endings that stick with us, right? You don't really get closure because it didn't turn out to be all right. Nothing got fixed. The guy is just dead. His family is just gone, and we're supposed to accept and move on. Dark ending means leaving the movie feeling dark. So ultimately, in our minds, Bughuul is still out there, hunting. He could literally be anything, if you think about it. A random person out on the street, a wild animal in the woods, maybe even an oversight in our daily lives that we don't realize how dangerous it is. Or maybe something totally unknown, something totally unpredictable. And maybe even all of those things at once. That's what this movie leaves us with. The idea that no matter where we are, we're being hunted. We might be hunted. Because even when we feel safe, we shouldn't. Because something could be filming us. And that our very screens could be holding something so evil and so dark that it can just look back at us. And it makes you think, where else could that apply to? Where you might be looking at and something is actually looking back at you and you just don't realize it. You're just missing it. Maybe even that sensation that something just walked by was true, and yet you're completely alone. And sure enough, in that final shot, Bughuul looks straight into the camera to get a good look at all of us who are watching. Remember? He's the director, the editor, the music producer. He's the one that made the movie, even Sinister. It all serves him in the end, and who knows which of us he'll hunt next. No, I will not talk about the sequel. Just cut here. That's a wrap. I'm done. You've just watched Fax Machine 9000. Thank you so much. Beep boop beep boop.